Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to talk about something huge, building the blueprint for truly excellent customer care. I'm not just talking about good service. We're going to dive into the architecture of creating experiences that really truly connect with people. And it all starts with a really basic but super important question.
You know what I'm talking about, right? We've all seen it. A customer spends like an hour carefully filling up their online shopping cart and then just abandons it at the very last step. Or maybe they pick some super complicated subscription plan when there's a simpler, better option sitting right next to it. It can be just baffling. It makes you ask, why do customers sometimes do things that seem, well, completely illogical?
And here's the big insight. Instead of just getting frustrated by this, we need to get curious. Seriously. The foundation of a brilliant customer care strategy isn't about reacting to what your customers are doing. Nope. It's all about deeply understanding why they're doing it. That little shift in perspective, that's our real starting point for everything.
Okay, so how do we actually find that why? Well, the answer comes from this really powerful field called behavioral economics. Think of it like a special lens, one that helps us see all the hidden forces that are shaping how people, including, you guessed it, your customers, actually think and make decisions in the real world. So this is where the big reframe happens. What behavioral economics shows us is that our decisions, they're often driven by stuff like mental shortcuts, our emotions, the context of the situation. It's not just pure cold logic. It's the actual science that explains all that illogical behavior we see every single day. And look, this is a huge shift in perspective. The old school traditional view basically treated the customer like a robot, right? Like someone who's just logically weighing all the pros and cons. But the behavioral view, it sees the customer as they actually are, human. We're all human. We get influenced by how choices are presented, we get totally overwhelmed when there's too much information, and yeah, sometimes we just go with our gut feeling. Okay, so we get the theory, right? Customers are human, they're not always logical. Great. But what do we actually do with that information? Well, let's get practical. Let's talk about the tool that comes directly from this understanding, and that's the power of a nudge. Now, a nudge is not a command, it's not a restriction. It's more like a gentle guide. Think about it like this: placing healthy snacks at eye level in a cafeteria. You're not banning the cake, right? You're just making that apple a little easier to see and grab. It's just a subtle change in the environment that helps guide people toward a better choice. But, and this is key, it keeps their freedom to choose totally intact. In the best part, applying this is actually a pretty simple three-step process. Step 1, you use those behavioral insights to really understand why a customer might be struggling or getting stuck. Step 2, you design a subtle prompt, that's your nudge, to gently guide them in a better direction. And finally, step 3, you measure the result. Hopefully a better outcome for both your customer and for your business. All right, now for the final phase. Let's call it construction. This is where we combine our understanding of human behavior with that super practical tool, the nudge. It's time to put it all together and really build an impactful customer care strategy from the ground up. So here's our final blueprint, an impactful strategy. It all starts with understanding behavioral economics. It doesn't try to fight that so-called illogical behavior. Instead, it anticipates it, it plans for it, and then it applies these thoughtful, strategic nudges to make the customer's whole journey smoother. At the end of the day, the goal of this whole thing is genuine customer care excellence. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? The idea is that, from the understanding of behavioral economics, the participants would apply nudges to create impactful customer care excellence strategy. It just lays it all out. The understanding leads to the tool, which leads to the strategy. It's a clear, powerful, and best of all, repeatable process. And I want to be super clear about something. This isn't about manipulation, not at all. In fact, it's the total opposite. It's about having the empathy to really see where your customers are struggling, and then using intelligent design to just make their lives a little bit easier. You're basically helping them make the choices they probably wanted to make in the first place. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. What's one small, subtle nudge you could introduce that might make a really big difference for your customers, maybe even as soon as tomorrow? Because remember, sometimes the grandest architecture of excellence, it starts with just a single, well-placed stone. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.